All right, so banned technologies.
Hmm.
I found this document online and the title alone it's clickbait, right? For anyone who, loves a good mystery,
Yeah.
13 banned technologies that science doesn't want you to know about .txt. It's got it all: secret labs, hidden discoveries.
It really taps into that human desire for the unknown, right?
Yeah.
We love a good mystery.
Exactly. But instead of like going down this rabbit hole of conspiracy theories, we're going to use this list to take a look at some seriously cool scientific advancements.
Okay.
Who knows, maybe we'll even uncover some stuff that you haven't heard of before.
Sounds like a plan. Let's separate, the hype from the reality here.
Okay, so first up on this banned tech list,
Yeah,
the supposed cover-up of new human relatives.
right.
It's giving Bigfoot documentary,
You know, Bigfoot's not really making waves in paleoanthropology these days. But what I is true is that just in the last decade, we've had some game-changing discoveries about our ancient ancestors.
Right.
And these findings haven't been hidden away. They're out there in the scientific community,
Yeah.
adding to our knowledge of human evolution.
So let's dive into some of those discoveries. The document, it mentions scientists keeping these new human relatives under wraps, but the truth is, these findings are anything but secret. Like, take Australopithecus sediba,
Right.
discovered by a 9-year-old.
Yeah.
Imagine that. You're out playing in a cave in South Africa, and boom, you stumble on a potential ancestor who lived almost 2 million years ago.
It's incredible. And this wasn't just any fossil. Uh, Australopithecus sediba had this really fascinating mix of ape-like and human-like traits. It had long arms, which suggests it spent time in trees, but it also had a pelvis and leg bones that indicate it walked upright, much like us.
So it's like a snapshot of that transition from swinging through trees to walking on two legs.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good reminder that evolution isn't this straight line. It's more like this winding, branching path with all sorts of fascinating side roads.
And sometimes those side roads, they lead to discoveries that totally challenge our assumptions about how humans evolved,
Yeah.
right? And these discoveries, they're not just limited to Africa.
Right.
You mentioned game changers. Have you heard of Homo naledi? This relative of ours was hanging out in South Africa around 300,000 years ago, and get this.
Yeah.
It had a brain about a third the size of ours.
It's true. Yeah. Homo naledi really, really challenges that idea that bigger brains equal more advanced species, right?
Yeah.
I mean, here we have this small brain hominid walking upright, potentially using tools, and maybe even engaging in these complex social behaviors.
It makes you wonder what we might find next, right? Like if a species with a relatively small brain like Homo naledi could do those things, what does that tell us about how intelligence and behavior developed in our lineage?
That's a great question, and it just highlights how much we still don't know.
Right.
But there's another twist to the story too. Human evolution, it wasn't just an African thing.
Yeah.
In 2019, a team of scientists announced the discovery of Homo luzonensis in the Cotakans. These were small-statured humans that lived between 50,000 and 67,000 years ago, which means they were around at the same time as several other hominid species, including our own.
So while this idea of scientists hiding new human relatives, it's a bit far-fetched, the reality is these discoveries are happening all the time.
Yeah.
And they're painting this increasingly complex and fascinating picture of our family tree.
Yeah, and that's what's so great about science. It's not about clinging to old ideas, but constantly questioning, exploring, and revising how we see the world, based on new evidence.
Speaking of questioning and exploring, this next one on the list of banned technologies, it caught my eye because it sounds like something straight out of a superhero movie. Ready for this? It claims scientists have invented this wonder material called starlight that can withstand the heat of a nuclear blast.
Now that's a claim that'll really capture your imagination. Who wouldn't want like heat-resistant plastic that could survive, well, anything, really?
Right.
But when it comes to starlight, the evidence is just not there. There's no scientific literature, no peer-reviewed studies, just these anecdotal accounts, rumors.
So
Like
more science fiction than science fact.
probably, yeah.
That's clear.
But that's not to say there aren't incredible things happening in material science.
Of course.
And it does make you wonder, what if we could design a material like that? something that could withstand those temperatures. What could we do with it?
That's a great point. And speaking of pushing boundaries and exploring the unknown, what about all the incredible discoveries we have made in space exploration just in the past decade?
Ah, now you're talking. Forget about suppressed technology, space exploration, IS, pushing the limits of what we know, what's even possible.
Right. And the best part is these discoveries aren't hidden. They're being shared with everyone. Take Pluto, for example. Remember when it got demoted to a dwarf planet? I always felt kind of bad for it.
Yeah, pure Pluto.
But, Pluto got the last laugh, right?
Yeah, it did.
In 2015, the New Horizons spacecraft, it flies by Pluto and sends back pictures of a world that's anything buggy-tea, boring, icy mountains, these vast plains, even evidence of a possible subsurface ocean.
Wow.
Hold on, Pluto, billions of miles away, might have more liquid water than all the oceans on Earth combined. It seems impossible.
It's incredible. Great. And the discoveries didn't stop there either. The Cassini spacecraft that spent 13 years orbiting Saturn, it sent back this treasure trove of information.
Right.
Close-up views of the rings, observations of this massive storm that engulfed the entire planet, even evidence of possible ingredients for life on Enceladus, one of Saturn's moons.
Wait, hold on. Ingredients for life. Are you saying there could be alien microbes swimming around in an ocean on a moon of Saturn?
It's possible. It's definitely possible. And it gets even wilder. We've now discovered thousands of exoplanets.
What?
Planets orbiting other stars, some of which might have conditions suitable for life as we know it.
Okay, that's mind-blowing. Thousands of planets, some maybe like our own, and we're just starting to scratch the surface of what's out there.
Right.
This banned technologies list, it's supposed to be about hidden knowledge, but it seems like the real mysteries are unfolding right in front of us.
Exactly. And the most exciting part, this is just the beginning.
It's kind of funny, this document, it tries to make it seem like scientists are hiding these incredible discoveries, but really, sometimes the biggest breakthroughs, they come with these ethical questions that are, well, they're tough to deal with.
Yeah, that's true.
And that brings us to the next banned technology on the list. Gene editing.
Right. It's a topic that's, well, it's both incredibly exciting ADA, incredibly complex,
Definitely.
I mean, on the one hand, you've got the potential to cure genetic diseases, create crops that can resist, like almost anything, and maybe even change what it means to be human. But on the other hand, you're talking about manipulating the very building blocks of life, and that comes with a whole host of ethical considerations that we just can't ignore.
Yeah, it's like we're stepping into one of those science fiction novels, But this is real life, and the choices we make now, they could have ripple effects for generations.
Exactly. So let's break down what gene editing actually is. The document kind of mentions it, but the real game changer here is this technology called CRISPR-Cas9.
CRISPR, yeah.
Yeah. Imagine like a pair of molecular scissors, and these scissors allow scientists to target and edit specific sections of DNA, and they can do it with incredible accuracy.
So we're talking about being able to actually rewrite the code of life. That's amazing, but it's also kind of terrifying.
It is both, and that's why it's so important that we're having this conversation about gene editing, right?
Right.
With CRISPR, scientists can potentially correct genetic defects that cause diseases, things like cystic fibrosis or sickle cell anemia.
Right.
We're talking about the possibility of actually curing some of the most devastating diseases that humans have suffered from for, well, centuries.
That's huge.
Right. And it doesn't stop there. CRISPR could also be used to create crops that are more resistant to disease, drought, pests, things that could have a massive impact on global food security.
Okay, so the potential benefits are clearly enormous, but I know there are concerns too, right?
Absolutely. I mean, messing with the building blocks of life, that's got to come with some risks.
Right. One of the biggest concerns is that there could be unintended consequences.
Okay.
When you edit a gene, you can't be 100% sure how that'll affect other parts of the genome or even the entire organism.
So like those butterfly effect scenarios you see in the movies.
Yeah.
Where one small change can lead to these huge unforeseen consequences.
Exactly. That's the worry.
And these changes, they could be passed down to future generations, which brings up even bigger ethical questions, right?
Right. It's
And then there's the whole issue of designer babies.
Right. Using gene editing not to cure diseases, but to choose desirable traits like intelligence or athleticism.
Exactly. And that's where things get, well, ethically murky, to say the least.
It feels like we're almost on the verge of playing God with human evolution.
It's a slippery slope, and the scientific community knows that. They're very aware of the implications here.
Okay.
In fact, there was a case back in 2018 that really, really shook things up.
What happened?
Chinese scientist, he used CRISPR to edit the genomes of human embryos, and it led to the birth of twin girls.
He actually did it. He edited the genes of human embryos that resulted in the births of children.
He did, yeah, and it led to international outrage.
Wow.
A lot of scientists condemned the experiment. They said it was reckless, premature,
Yeah.
the technology, it wasn't ready, and the ethical side of things, well, that hadn't been properly thought through.
That's a lot of responsibility to potentially change the genetic future of a child and all of their descendants. It's not a decision to be taken lightly.
Exactly, and it really highlights why we need these open, transparent conversations about gene editing.
Right.
This isn't just something for scientists to decide on their own, you know.
Right.
It affects all of us, and we need to have this discussion as a society about where we draw the line.
I totally agree. It's a powerful tool, incredible potential, but like any powerful tool, it has to be used ethically, responsibly.
Absolutely.
We've gone from ancient human relatives to the far reaches of space, and now to this microscopic world of our own DNA, and we're not even through this whole list of banned technologies.
It's been quite a journey of scientific discovery,
Yeah.
but I get the sense you might be ready for a bit of a change of pace here.
You're reading my mind. I am super interested in all of this, but I also want to be mindful of everyone's time. So maybe we switch gears and do a rapid fire round.
Okay, sounds good.
We can hit on a few more of these interesting scientific advancements, especially the ones that connect to this whole idea of hidden knowledge. How does that sound?
Sounds like a plan. Let's do it.
Okay, so buckle up, because this one's straight out of the history books. Did you know that we can now sequence the genomes of ancient humans? We're talking extracting DNA from bones and teeth that are thousands of years old, and then using that to piece together the genetic history of our ancestors.
It's incredible. It's like having a time machine for genetics.
Right.
We can trace migrations that happened thousands of years ago, learn about diseases that are long gone, even get clues about what our ancient relatives actually look like.
Wow.
It's completely changing how we understand the past.
Talk about unlocking hidden knowledge, huh? It's amazing what science can do. And speaking of amazing science, this document, it mentions the Ebola outbreak.
Right.
And while a vaccine rollout, it's not exactly a banned technology. The speed with which they were able to develop treatments and vaccines for this deadly virus, it's incredible.
It really shows what we can do when we bring together scientific expertise and resources on a global scale.
It does.
The fight against Ebola, it was truly a global collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant minds coming together to tackle a common threat to humanity.
It's really inspiring when you think about it.
It is.
Okay, last but not least, prepare yourselves for this. We're changing how we define a kilogram.
Okay, that might not sound very exciting at first glance.
I know, but trust me, it's way cooler than it sounds. So we used to define a kilogram based on this physical object, right? Like a literal hunk of metal that they kept under lock and key.
A very, very old-fashioned way of doing things for our modern world.
I know, right? But now, hold on to your hats, because we define the kilogram using a fundamental constant of the universe.
Wow.
It's like we've moved from this physical object to a universal truth.
That's a great way to put it. It's a perfect example of how science is constantly evolving, constantly refining how we understand the world.
It's wild, right? We went from this hunk of metal to like this universal constant.
Yeah, it really shows how much our understanding of measurement has changed over time.
From ancient DNA to the depths of space, even to how we define a kilogram, who needs a list of banned technologies, when the reality of scientific progress is already so fascinating.
I mean, this whole deep dive has shown us that scientific advancement, it's less about these shadowy conspiracies and more about the constant pursuit of knowledge, right?
Totally. It's like we said at the beginning, a good mystery is fun, but sometimes the most exciting discoveries, they're happening right out in the open.
Exactly. And this document we've been going through, while it had some intriguing ideas, it shows us how important it is to be a little skeptical, right?
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence.
Exactly. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of hidden knowledge. But we have to ground our curiosity in solid research. We have to be committed to understanding the world based on evidence.
It's like you said earlier, science is all about constantly questioning, exploring, and revising our understanding as we learn more.
Absolutely. That's what makes it so, so exciting.
So, to everyone listening, next time you come across a headline about, like, banned technologies or suppressed science, don't just take it at face value.
Yeah, do your own digging.
Yeah.
Consult some reputable sources.
Right, right.
Embrace that thrill of separating fact from fiction.
Because as we've seen today, the truth is often way stranger, way more amazing than anything we could make up.
And who knows, you might even stumble across a scientific discovery that totally changes how you see the world.
That's what we love about these deep dives, sparking that curiosity, exploring the wonders of science, together.
It's been fun.
Thanks for joining us, everyone. And remember, stay curious out there.